Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining the Oklahoma City Dodgers Baseball Foundation's Community Spotlight. We're really excited because we have a couple of special guests with us today. And I'm going to turn things around a little bit and actually be interviewed rather than do the interview. And so I've asked our board member and member of our Dodgers team, Alex Friedman, to join us today to kind of, lead the discussion. So Alex, welcome.
Thank you very much, Carol. Great to be here. And I want to thank everyone who's watching this Community Spotlight. And it is early February as we record this, and we're all looking forward to baseball season getting underway and some warmer weather as well. So in addition to Carol, as she mentioned, we have a couple of special guests here with us today, one of which is Bennett Shields. Bennett is the Senior Manager of Baseball and Softball Development for Major League Baseball. He's been in his current position for over 3 years, and he's worked for nearly 15 years for Major League Baseball in various roles. We also have Destiny Martinez with us here today. She's the Managing Director of Sport Development for USA Softball. She's been with USA Softball as an administrator since 2016, was a former player for Team USA as well, and played collegiately at the University of Oklahoma, where she won a 2013 national championship. And for those of you who maybe aren't as familiar with Carol Hare, Carol is the Executive Director of the OKC Dodgers Baseball Foundation. The foundation helps oversee the OKC Dodgers Rookie League in conjunction with OKC Parks and Rec. That's a program that started in 2018, and registration for 2021 Rookie League is currently now open. You can do that at okcdodgers.com. So a lot of our conversation today is going to be talking about youth baseball and softball participation and what we can do as a community to help increase that. Bennett, we'll start with you as someone who works very closely with the Playball brand there as part of Major League Baseball. We've probably seen Playball commercials or branding during Major League Baseball games or on MLB.com. But it'd be great if you could give us a history of Playball and how it's kind of developed to where it is today.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you both for having me on today. Really a pleasure to be with you both, and excited to continue the now few-year standing partnership and working with the OKC Dodgers in various ways, but especially on the Playball initiative. So when Commissioner Manfred took over as his post as commissioner in 2015, he made very clear right off the bat that a hallmark of his administration would be an increased or a refocus on, youth participation in baseball and softball. So early on, the Playball initiative was commenced. Really to make an impact as large as Major League Baseball hoped to make, it was key that we had the support, both administratively, but also in terms of reach of the two tentpole partners on the Playball initiative, USA Baseball and USA Softball, obviously the two governing bodies of the respective sports. The Playball initiative is really, it's an umbrella effort to quite simply encourage young people to participate in the game. And kind of a moniker that we've used over the years is, no matter how you play ball, play ball. From my perspective, and I guess from my purview particularly, one of the things I really work on within our baseball and softball development department is our Playball events and helping manage those. Those events are designed to serve as first, a community focal point for bringing attention to local leagues, local organizations, even local professional teams or collegiate teams, but kind of highlighting that local, the local community, baseball and softball playing community, in a setting where young people can come out and get a touch and feel for the game and experience the sport in a low impact, non-competitive way. Our play ball events, we use plastic and foam bat and ball sets. We call them the play ball sets. But it's, the equipment is something that folks would be familiar with using in their backyard, that type of environment. Not really high-end, super technical baseball or softball equipment. And again, the idea is to be able to bring kids out who maybe have never played at all or have only played, rec level baseball or softball, in a setting where they can come out and participate with some kids who maybe have, and are coming out to be on the field at Oklahoma City, as an example. And again, celebrate the game, celebrate the local baseball and softball playing community, but get a touch and feel for the sport a little bit.
And you mentioned how USA Baseball and USA Softball are those two tentpoles, those key tentpoles to play ball success. So Destiny is someone who works for USA Softball based here in Oklahoma City. What are the key things that your organization is able to do to be involved in play ball?
Yeah, so thank you again for having me on here in the first place. We really appreciate it. But the Play Ball initiative has really helped USA Softball in the way that we're structured, kind of provide an opportunity for our commissioners to really be on the ground and interactive with kids in their respective areas. So the way that USA Softball is structured is we have 67 different associations with commissioners and junior Olympic commissioners who are constantly seeking ways to enhance the participation in their respective areas. So partnering with the Play Ball initiative and Major League Baseball overall has really helped us find ways to encourage playing the game. So I know that being able to bring Play Ball events to their areas really draws in attention and gives kids an opportunity to play without really having to feel any pressure. It's just really fun for them. And so I think that that's a really key initiative for a lot of our commissioners to really bite at. And it's pretty easy for people to put on, which makes it fun for everybody. And what we do on the USA Softball side, as well as put it on with our commissioners, is we're able to provide teams that are at more of an elite level to be there and support the younger generations, which I think is really cool. And then also having some of our Olympic players come back and give back, and even our current national team members being able to be a part of it is really key in how we're able to really enhance these events for Major League Baseball, as well as grow participation within the respective areas.
And Carol, we heard Bennett discuss having some of those local events, those of which in the past have been on the field at Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark. But what are some other ways maybe here in Oklahoma City where these events have been able to manifest themselves locally?
Sure. Well, this month we are hosting a play ball event with the New Zion Church in Oklahoma City in honor of Black History Month. And so there are events like that happen throughout the year all over the country. And so you can go to, correct me if I'm wrong, the Playball website, playball.org, and see events in your local area. So if you're watching this and you're not from Oklahoma City, but you want to see what's going on in your neck of the woods, you certainly can.
Well, what have been some of the biggest challenges that you have seen to the growth of youth baseball and youth softball? And Bennett, we'll start with you.
Yeah, that's a great question, and certainly one that if we knew precisely all the answers to, it would make our jobs a lot easier. I think that fundamentally, baseball and softball are sports that require more refined motor skills. They require a lot of patience. And they are both sports that are really predicated on building upon failure. And that's hard for a young person, especially in this day and age where more linear sports are, and when I say linear, I mean a goal at one end, a goal at the other end, a hoop or whatever it might be, are a little bit easier for both children and the volunteer parents running the programs to manage. So I think that that's one of the main challenges we have, is to find ways that we can simplify the certain aspects of both baseball and softball, especially for young people and especially for people who don't necessarily have the foundations yet skill-wise.
Great. And same question for you, Destiny, and your experience working with USA Softball.
Yeah, I think one of our bigger issues is it's not the lack of awareness, but maybe lack of interest at a young age. I've noticed that within USA Softball, our recreational leagues have diminished a little bit. And I think that's the cause of that is I think the lack of interest at a young age. I know that when I grew up and a lot of the current athletes now playing for Team USA, they started at a young age, right around 4 to 6 age range. And I think that being able to go play outside in the front yard with your friends or your siblings, or go into the local park and just playing for fun has kind of diminished a little bit, which has really affected the interest of finding those local leagues to join. And so I think with the Play Ball initiative, it's just making the game fun again, and hopefully encouraging them to go home and play at home. I think technology plays its role in this, with the younger kids wanting to be on their iPads and PlayStation and stuff like that. I think that's definitely had an effect on it as well. But again, with the Play Ball initiative, we do send them home with a bat and ball set and encourage them to find ways to play again, find ways to play at home, maybe play with their parents, and kind of develop that love for the sport that we may be missing out on at the younger ages.
And as unfortunate as may be, I know one of the realities of the situation is there can be some financial barriers, and that was a big reason why the Oklahoma City Dodgers were able to partner up with OKC Parks and Rec a few years ago to start formation of the Rookie League. So, Carol, if you could discuss a little bit more about some of the efforts that have been taken in that area to hopefully relieve some of those potential financial burdens to make the game more accessible for everybody.
Yeah, sure. Baseball can be a very expensive sport, and that's why I'm really excited to learn more about Play Ball, and just giving kids that little bit of a carrot to play ball in their front yard or in their backyard or wherever in their neighborhood is a great start. But when they start to develop an interest and they want to play league ball, it's challenging unless you're on a traveling team to afford it. And so the foundation has traditionally provided scholarships for kids to play. And so something as small as a $55 scholarship can really go a long way towards making a parent feel more comfortable about making that commitment that baseball is. Our team internally talks about what a long season baseball can be. We play 70 home games every season in a short amount of time. And so baseball does have a longer commitment than some of the other sports. And so if we can take away some of those barriers, such as making it easy and convenient for folks to go to practice and making it easy for them to get a snack while they're there, I think we go a long way towards making it a more comfortable environment for parents to really invest in their kids playing sports.
Well, we heard Destiny mention earlier about sending kids home with bats and balls, as well as Bennett mentioning that as well, to encourage them to continue to play. For those of you who are watching who haven't been, if you go to the website playball.org, it is a very extensive website And Bennett, I was hoping you could just highlight some of the resources that are available for both potential players and coaches there on the website.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. So at playball.org, really one of the things we try and use it for is a centralizing point for information for anyone interested in pursuing youth baseball or softball opportunities. One of the tools we have on there that we work very closely with USA Softball and Baseball on is the Playball Near You map. Folks, parents who are interested in signing their kids up for youth baseball or softball leagues can go on there and use the map tool to plug in their zip code and find organizations that provide baseball and softball programming in their area. So that's one thing that I would recommend folks check out. Carol alluded to it earlier, but we do have on the subheader there, playball.org/events. We have our active registrations for Playball events listed there. For the immediate short term, we do expect those to be the drive-through events where we're handing out bat and ball sets to young people who come to attend those. But as we get into the year and hopefully things clear up, we'll be able to have additional events where we're out on the field listed there as well. And then really, I'd say on the main page, when you navigate to playball.org, you'll always see news and updates on what's going on in the youth baseball and softball space. You'll see some human interest stories there. So it's always a good place to check and look for some inspiration to get out and play the game that we all love so dear.
Well, I'll leave this next question just kind of open for anyone who wants to answer. We've talked about some of the in-person events that have occurred, whether it is more instruction-based on a field or like the drive-up event that's coming up here locally in Oklahoma City. But how important are those events to be able to establish a personal connection with the members of the community to help grow the game?
I'm happy to field that, I guess. Immensely important, to answer it directly. One of the things that we do with the Playball events, and I mentioned it before, we bring all different elements of the baseball and softball playing community into an event and integrate them into the event. So using I think we've done 3 Playball events now at Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark. Using that as an example, right? We had folks from USA Softball there, folks from the national team. We had representatives of the OKC Dodgers there. We had folks from local travel softball programs there. When we'll do them in professional ballparks, like we've done with the Dodgers and USA Softball. We'll do events in local community parks where we'll lean very heavily on local high school and college baseball and softball players to come out and serve as clinicians and run the stations for the younger kids. And one of the things we ask them to do is wear their uniform top. Because we find that for the kids, it serves as kind of an aspirational thing, and inspirational thing as well to be out on the field running around with these young athletes. Even if they're high school athletes, they can seem larger than life, and hopefully provides that next level of encouragement for them to pursue the game after the event.
Well, Carol, I know something that's another big part of emphasis for the OKC Dodgers Rookie League. Of course, you want to be able to have a lot of teams and a lot of players, but that means you also need a lot of coaches as well, and good quality people who are willing to give their time and help grow the game. How have the efforts of the OKC Dodgers Rookie League, how have they been impacted by the willingness of coaches and the ability to recruit good coaches to fill those positions?
You know what? I think every kid who has played sports has a coach that they have just revered and just looked up to. And so there is, I don't think we can overstate the importance of good coaches, right? I mean, there's nothing better than investing in kids. It's hard to find a volunteer who's willing to sacrifice his own time or her own time for practices and games. But, we've been very successful because the program has a lot of impact. And so we typically see between 20 and 40 coaches a season, which is just amazing. I think in the fall league, they use 20, but in the spring league, we use closer to 40. So we're always looking for coaches, and it's not something that's overwhelming. We give you a lot of resources. So if anybody out there that's watching this is interested in working with kids and really helping us fuel a love for baseball, we'd love to have them.
Well, as much as we'd like to pretend that here we are, 2021, things are proceeding as normal, but they still aren't, unfortunately, due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And it's had just a huge impact, not only on sports, but in life in general, of course. And I want to ask and get each of your thoughts. How has the pandemic affected your efforts? And Destiny, we'll start with you.
Yeah, greatly. It's been really tough because this initiative is put together to interact with the kids and have as much fun as we can with the kids and get them out on the field and teach them the basics. So it's been tough. It's hard to kind of interact with them without being able to be directly in front of them. But we have been able to create some virtual events. We have been able to, we're trying right now, USA Softball just launched a campaign, Get to Know USAS. So we're trying to get young athletes and just athletes in general to kind of interact with Team USA members. And the goal of it is for USA Softball members to kind of share their passions and their knowledge of the game through a hashtag. And so I know that being in a pandemic, we're still trying to find innovative ways to kind of keep kids interacted with our athletes and just keep them interested in the game. And so, yeah, definitely COVID-19 has been tough, but I think we've all kind of figured out innovative ways to kind of keep moving. So.
And Bennett, same question for you.
I'd echo the sentiment. It's been a challenge, to say the least. And like Destiny said, so much of what we do is predicated on that interaction, that in-person interaction. So we have had to get creative, and it's never going to replace, being able to be out on the field with hundreds of people running around with music going and the smells of the ballpark wafting and having a good time. Nothing will replace that we can do virtually. But you mentioned the church event with New Zion coming up. We've gotten creative as best we can, so we can take elements of our events and still have some interaction, small though it may be. So the drive-through events are something that have become a staple of our getting through this time, and. At least I think even personally and for, if I can speak for our staff at MLB Baseball and Softball Development, early on in the pandemic, Tony Regans, who heads up our department, said, all right, this is an opportunity to get creative and kind of take on this challenge with creativity and like Destiny said, the other term there, be innovative. And I think we've done a good job. Our team at MLB has done a good job at flipping that script and doing what we can with what we have under the circumstances. The last thing I'll mention there, and it's almost to the point probably everybody's tired of it. We talk about Zoom atrophy, right? But the virtual events have been a cool opportunity to engage in ways that maybe we wouldn't on the field, where a little bit more of the focus is on the game and on the X's and O's. Our virtual events do involve the conversation about the game and the X's and O's, but it also has given us a platform, I think, in given leagues and organizations we work with too, to maybe get a little bit deeper on some of the social issues, some of the personal issues, mental issues that folks are facing. And, if you look at that as a silver lining, I suppose it is one for sure. So we'll keep moving, and again, looking forward to getting back out on the field fully.
And Carol, let's finish out with you there. How has the pandemic affected the OKC Dodgers Baseball Foundation and locally with the Rookie League?
I think exactly what everybody's mentioned already. I mean, it's challenging, but it creates opportunities, and I do agree that it's given us the ability to develop relationships in a different way and to partner in ways that maybe we didn't need to before, just because we're all in this together, and we get further together. And so, at least in the nonprofit community in Oklahoma City, I've seen a large swing towards information sharing, resource sharing, and trying to work together to make sure that youth sports continue. I mean, it is challenging when schools are closed, and it's so challenging for the kids too, because we know all the behind the scenes reasons for why we're, having to be safe and additional protocols, but kids don't always know. And so making sure that they're safe and getting to play and be kids, it's paramount to what we do. And so I'm so glad that we have such great partnerships like these groups, to help us make sure kids are still getting to play.
Well, we're going to wrap things up here, and we want to thank each and every one of you for taking your time today. And the last thing I'll ask for each of you is, let's just hope that a lot of folks watching this are going to come away with it thinking, this is great, I want to help, but what's the best way I can help? So I want each of you to give kind of your 3 to 4 sentence elevator pitch for those who are watching. It was the best way to help. And this time, Carol, will start with you.
Well, I think we've already really talked about ways to help with Rookie League. Specifically, if you have a heart for kids and you'd like to coach, please let us know, and we will connect you with the Oklahoma City Parks and Rec Department and get you started there. We also accept foundation. At the foundation, we accept donations so that we can provide scholarships to kids who would not have the means to play this year. So if that is something that you'd like to consider, please reach out to us, and we'd be happy to make that happen for you.
Okay, Destiny, your thoughts.
Yeah. So first, I would encourage you all to kind of encourage kids to just play the game, however they can. Just get out there and support them, play with them, show them that it is fun, and I think just getting kids out there to play in general. But on the USA softball side, we actually have a USA softball commissioner of Oklahoma. So what you can do is find me on our Contact Us webpage, usasoftball.com, contact us. You can see me on there. And I would be glad to connect you. There's a lot of different ways that they can help with leagues and getting things started, but then also just within USA Softball of Oklahoma. And then also I'd like to touch more on the Fun at Bat initiative that we do have for local schools. So if anybody's interested in providing a curriculum to your school, I would also be the contact for that. And it's similar to a play ball event, but it's a curriculum. So if you're interested in putting something into the schools, please reach out to me.
And Bennett, we'll let you have the final word.
Well, I would say, especially assuming that most of the audience here is OKC, local to OKC in the OKC region, I would say connect with the OKC Dodgers, connect with USA Softball locally. You are lucky that you're in a market where there's a wealth of resources and a wealth of leadership in the area. So, the two women here with me, I would definitely recommend following up with them if you're interested. And beyond that, I would really say, if you have a love for the game, make sure that you're sharing that with the next generation, be it volunteering, coaching, be it, if you are a parent, get your kids out playing the game, be creative, share that love of the game, even if it's in the backyard, because I think I can speak for, I know that I speak for a lot of people that play the sport when I say we didn't fall in love with the game playing, competitive, playing the sport at a competitive level. It was something before that. So, it was in the backyard, it was in the street with neighbors, with siblings. So, if you have a love for baseball or softball, make sure that you're out there sharing it.
All right. Well, we want to thank each and every one of you again for joining us today. Carol Herrick, the Executive Director of the OKC Dodgers Baseball Foundation, Bennett Shields with Major League Baseball, who oversees play ball, and the Senior Manager of Baseball and Softball Development, Destiny Martinez, here with USA Softball, the Managing Director of Sport Development. Again, you can go to playball.org. As you heard Destiny mention, usasoftball.com. And for those of you locally who are interested in this year's OKC Dodgers Rookie League, you can do that right now at okcdodgers.com. I want to thank everyone who joined us today for this Community Spotlight. Hopefully we've inspired you to help get involved, grow the game at the youth level. And that'll do it for us today. So thank you so much, and please stay safe.